Welcome to Buckle Up Podcast Universe with Brandon Rush.
And welcome back to the Buckle Up Podcast Universe with Brandon Rush and
Mama Rush.
And today we have on Roscoe Wilson, who is the father of Asia Wilson, the WNBA star, who is also alumni of the great University of South Carolina, just like myself. But she is doing wonderful things in the WNBA, and we are proud of her being the all-star that she is. But today we have on her father, and who I believe that my mom grew up with around the same time.
We grew up together. Yeah, I can't wait for you all to meet a family friend and a childhood friend and still a great friend. And we'll talk about that when we get there. Okay?
Yeah, so he'll be on here in just a few minutes, and we're looking forward to having him on here today on the Buckle Up Podcast Universe with Brandon Rush and
Mama Rush.
All right. Zoom record. It should pop on here in a second.
Oh, he's on.
Yes, ma'am. I see that he's there. He goes.
What's going on?
Not too much, Mr. Wilson. How are you doing? I'm Brandon Rush. I met you a while ago at my auntie's house one time.
Oh, okay. Well, listen, I'm old. Can't remember what I did 15 minutes ago.
Hey, it's all good. It's all good. Thank you so much for coming on the Buckle Up Podcast Universe today with Brandon Rush and Mama Rush.
And
Mom.
Mama Rush. Hey, Roscoe.
How you doing?
Doing great. How you doing, dear family friend?
Yeah, I can't remember. I couldn't remember. I'm trying to remember the last time we actually saw each other.
At Naomi's birthday party.
Naomi's birthday party. That's
Remember
right.
we came to that birthday party? Yeah,
That's right.
About 6 years ago. That's the last time I saw you. It's so great to see you.
Yeah, it's so good to see you.
And we're so happy you agreed to be on the show today, the Buckle Up Podcast show. And we now have how many people?
We have 11 million viewers and listeners in 28 countries and 268 cities around the world. So we're doing pretty well.
And we're on 6 continents.
In 6 continents. Yes, that's correct.
So we've done all right.
I must be serving lunch or something. My God.
Yeah. Well, we have something for everybody here. That's why we call it the Everyday Podcast. But today is all about you and your story. We want to hear. I know that you're friends with Virgil, and so Virgil was like, you have to check out Mr. Wilson too, because you guys are some ballers back in the day. So we'd love to hear all about it.
I've been growing up too in South Carolina. So start from wherever you like, but tell the story to our audience, please, Roscoe. And then I'm going to interject some things as well.
Well, my father was a minister. We lived here in South Carolina. He was called to a church. He's from Texas. Our family on my father's side is all from Texas. We have very, very no relatives here in South Carolina.
Oh, really?
Mother's side, very, very few.
Mm-hmm.
Right here in South Carolina, it's myself, my wife Eva, my son Ronaldo, Asia, and then Preston. You remember Bubba? That's us. That's us in Columbia. We grew up here over on City Street, off Gervais Street. He is with the St. John, which is, I would think a typical African American religious right father led family. My dad was a very committed, anointed pastor. We had to follow his rules or die.
Yeah.
It was so it was. I was looking back on it. I think I had a wonderful life. Just compared to what I've seen and where some other people have been, I think we had a wonderful life. My mother was Ethel was a wonderful mother. She was not your typical housewife mother, because my mother was not. She was not the cook. My mother was academic.
Okay.
She finished high school at 12, finished college at 16, had a master's when she was 20 years old. So that was her life. She liked to study. She liked to read. She liked to research. She traveled the world. We'd be sitting at the table in the morning by 14 years old, some maybe younger, and we would sit at the table eating, and she said, "Well, tomorrow I just want to let y'all know I'm flying out to go to China." I said, "What?
Really?
What? You know what? You going to China?"
Yeah.
And she go to China, stay a year. You know.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then she come back to the table another couple of years later and said, "Listen, I just want to let y'all know I'm flying to Ghana. I'm flying to Ghana, Africa."
Wow.
I think that's where I got that from, because I don't have an issue with traveling, particularly back then. So she go to Ghana, Africa. We would stay with my daddy. He would be the cook. He'd be taking. And plus, the church would always take care
Absolutely.
of the church responsibility. So I just look at back. It's a blessing. It's just a blessing. I look back on that and I think about all the people that we came in contact with. Obviously, the Halls. We grew up together back in the backyard back there.
Yes, that's the truth.
The Dreers and the Halls, they had this. I call it right now we call it the demilitarized zone.
Okay.
You had the Dreer house,
a mess.
and then you had the Hall's house in a back behind it. But it was this area in between that we just kind of went crazy in there. You had to use your imagination. It was not any. We didn't have any swings. I don't remember any swings, anything like that. It was just ground, and we played, do all kind of things. Aaron and was
and Wilbur
Aaron and Sharon, and yeah, Wilbur. But Aaron and Sharon we were closer with, and see, Aaron was generally like the thespian. She was always doing something where, it's acting, and Benzina. I'm just trying to figure out here. It was a large group of us. It had to be what?
Because there were 6 children in our family.
And
then the Dreers 3 in their family, and then the 2 Bubba and Roscoe.
Okay.
So we had plenty of kids, plenty of people around to have fun.
Ms. Dreer started what's now is called after school. Ms. Dreer started the first after school program because when we went up there, obviously we went up there to play. But before we did anything, Ms. Drew says, "You gonna get your lesson. You gonna sit down. You gonna do your whatever needed to be done." We did it.
Yes, sir.
Like I said, making me think about that. I'm looking back, and it was just a joy. I'm thinking about it now. It's part of the reasons why we're in the state of mind now, because we had good ground. We had a good grounding upbringing.
Absolutely.
You're around people, but not necessarily related.
Yeah.
For extended amount of time, but you never thought about that. It was all kind of a family thing.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Hall was a carpenter.
My dad.
Mr. Drill was the entrepreneur. He had a store. So we were around a whole, an array of minds and what do we call it? Just a presence of different thinking, diverse thinking.
Yes, sir.
That's right.
Because like I said, I used to watch Mr. Hall. He pretty much build our house, and we'd be standing there talking. He'd be just hammering and talking, and so you related in a number of ways. You saw a man. First of all, you saw a black man working.
Yes, sir.
Focus all day. Then you saw a black man that had an interest in you, respected you. He would talk to us like, because a lot of times you working, most people say, "Get away from me, kid. I got to get my work done."
Yeah.
But that was not Mr. Hall. He would just be working and talking.
Yes, sir.
But see, little he knew, what little we know, he was helping us because he was saying, "Listen, hand me that hammer over there." See that board over there? Bring that board over there. So he was getting some stuff done too.
Yes, sir.
And we were helping him with his overhead.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
And they were such wonderful kids.
We really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Well, what I wanted to say before we move forward, I want to talk about your dad, Reverend Wilson. That was my first pastor at St. John Baptist Church. And he's just a wonderful pastor. I just remember, tall. I remember it's so tall. Your dad's tall. And his mother, Sister Wilson. We didn't call her First Lady at that time, but your mother's Dr. Wilson, I believe it is. And she was a University of South Carolina professor. And I mean, it's not university, but Benedict College professor.
That's right.
And just everything about her. I always remember your mom walking into church and she would be dressed so fine and just from head to toe. And as a little girl, I would watch your mother. I said, oh, this lady is something. She carried herself with such dignity, and you knew she was brilliant. I just knew that because when we come to your house, she would have all her books and things around. And I mean, just so refined. And my mother was teaching us on the side porch too. We were learning during the summertime. During the summertime, we had school. I would tell everybody we had school. And after the school time, we'd get together. But Daddy loved your daddy. He loved your daddy. They were like good friends, just great friends. And they would talk about buildings together and all. And you said you were from Texas. Your parents, were you born in Texas, born here in South Carolina?
I was not born in Texas. I felt like I was because we were there a lot. We would go to Texas quite often. We would drive.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, from Columbia, South Carolina, that's a 3-day trip, at least a 3-day trip.
Wow.
Holy smokes.
So y'all would drive.
We would drive. We were young. We were very young, and driving was really doing segregation. So you know, when we stopped to eat, we get food and order the food, and they would go get it at the back of the store or back of the restaurant. We couldn't stop anywhere to eat.
Yes, sir.
We would just eat maybe on the side of the road or eat while we drive. My mom, I couldn't drive. I'm not old enough. Preston was not old enough. Between my mother and then I don't know if you remember Margaret Ann. I don't know.
I remember Margaret Ann. Now that you mentioned Margaret Ann, that came back. I forgot about Margaret Ann.
She was in the family very early. My mother and father adopted her from the Department of Juvenile Justice. I think she had an issue. Well, it was either Juvenile Justice or Social Services, or maybe both. And I don't know how they found her. My mother and father always did volunteer work at these programs, either at Social Services, Department of Mental Health, Department of Juvenile Justice. And obviously they'd come up on people and meet people, and they met this young girl and they fell in love with her, so they adopted her. So it just seemed like when I was aware, she was there. When she came in, she may have been there before we were, as far as in the family. So she would take care of us, disciplinarian, oh my gosh. But that's how I learned the sweet. That's how I learned the sweet, wash dishes, take on bed. Again, I guess Mr. Hall talked to her too. So she kept us, it was labor intensive. She would teach me how to sweep dust. As an actor, there's just a certain way you sweep dust. You can't just sweep dust. You have to kind of pull it along, keep it from going on. I had all that down. Cooking, making a bed. She taught us all that and taught us about cleanliness and putting stuff back where it was. But she taught it in a way where it was a battle axe. Now she was definitely disciplinarian. We had to respect, mind my mother and father, mind her, and she would say, "Mind me." You gotta mind me. So I look back on all that, and I think the progression and the development of our state of mind, where we stand in life, I think it all shaped into that from our families, because in those days, the minister, anybody working an honorable job with honorable people.
Yes, sir.
You working. Mr. Hall was a carpenter. Ms. Hall was a teacher, was an educator. My mother was an educator. My dad was a preacher, and those are pretty much the top tier occupations. I mean, you had doctors, you had lawyers.
Yes,
but
sir.
in the community, those people, educators and ministers, were pillars. They were pillars in the community because they led a flock. They had people. So you look back on that and you realize why that went that way. You know,
Mhm.
you didn't understand that. I didn't understand the dynamic at that time. I didn't understand the dynamic of, we didn't have a lot of money, but was never a situation we didn't have anything to eat. That was never a time I remember where,
That's
what are we gonna eat? Where we gonna
Yes,
get the
sir.
next thing? No, the church would always, take care of us. I mean, would always bring food by. They would go by or invite us. We eat at the Dreers. We eat at the hall. We eat all of us would come to the Dreers for New Year's, I think it is.
Yeah, we'd have New Year's dinner and
Did
everything.
Granny
Yeah.
hold the shotgun back then too, or no?
Did Granny do it now?
Shoot off the shotgun then?
Oh no, not that. But we would have New Year's and have firecrackers and all that. That's why I don't like them to this day, the firecrackers, because I got burned with those firecrackers. But they'd be right there. I mean, they were like our brothers.
Yes.
They were family.
Yes, ma'am.
And so we played together. We did all kind of different holidays together.
Yes, ma'am.
And Reverend Wilson, as I told you, was my first time. But St. John Baptist Church, the reason it is there, his daddy was the one that started he was the pastor of St. John Church,
Yes,
and grew that membership, grew that faithful membership. And right now I see how big it's taking up that whole thing on Beltline and all. Imagine that. Reverend Wilson was just wonderful. And we'll talk about, want to add more about him shortly, but he spoke at my daddy's service. He spoke he spoke at my daddy's service. I tell you, he was just, when I would see him, to me, he represented what God wanted me to see as a kid. He wanted me to get that foundation from a pastor that really cared about his flock.
Yes, ma'am.
And imparted the word of God to us. And that's why I love your daddy and your mother so much. But Roscoe, we're going to keep on talking. I got to interject some things along life's way as we talk to each other. You can see me trying to catch up.
Yeah, I'm good with it. I'm not complaining.
Yeah.
This is what we want.
What we want our viewers to see, this kind of thing.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, I see you in each one of you. I see y'all look just alike. Y'all could be brother and sister.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you make me feel so good, Roscoe.
No, but y'all look so much alike there. I mean, it's amazing. Some people you got the kind of strange. Let me see here now.
Yeah.
You all look so. And Carolyn, what are you?
Don't even say
no ages on it.
Don't talk about age today. Don't talk about age today. I'm just trying to keep on going. You talk about look-alike. I haven't met your son, but your daughter, when I see her on the court, I have said that from day one. I said, Asia, Roscoe. I said every time, don't you think you spat her out? I tell you.
Yeah. A lot of people say that they don't know. Because see, what's funny is that you never met my wife. I don't know if you met Eva.
No, I haven't met your wife.
Eva is, if I can say, Eva has the color of the South Sudanese tribe. Eva is black.
Okay.
She way past African American. She like black. I mean, she gonna get mad. She gonna get mad at me. I know she gets mad when every time.
Right. All right. This is what this show is about, having fun, talking to you.
Yeah, you're pretty funny there, Mr. Wilson.
She's black. So when Asia was born, Asia was white. I mean, she was white as snow. And I'm like, so I'm looking at my wife. I'm looking at this baby. I'm like, I said, doctor, is that my baby? And the doctor said, yeah, Miss Wilson. I said, that baby white. What are you talking about?
Well, your mother.
Yeah, I was looking at her mother. And she's looking up, and I'm like, this can't be true. This is too much. I mean, she was white as snow. And she said, that's your baby. So it was so funny when we would be in the room, like people come by the room, and visit us, and so I was not there when one of my coworkers came by to visit, and he called me up. She said she went over there. She and his wife and daughter went by to see Asia. To see Asia at the hospital. I was not there, so he called me up and said, Roscoe, my daughter tells me y'all got a white baby. So it was funny. It was funny. But when she came home, everybody started, hey, this is something else. But she browned out. She browned out in her time. But it was so funny how people just joke with us about that. So yeah, she looks like me. She does. I got to give it to her. I can't. I have to claim that. That is totally me right there.
That's you. Ben Hall, my brother, asked me talking about when he saw Brandon talking about, is that the mailman child?
Yeah, that's I'm looking at y'all. Y'all
fooling somebody, and I said,
your features, everything, eyes, everything, smile,
she is you,
all the same.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
all the same. That's amazing. But you are Asia. She played last night.
Oh, how'd they do last night? I didn't watch.
They won. They broke 500 because they've been struggling this year. They were last year. They were pretty good, but and then 2 years before they were back-to-back world champions.
Yeah, I remember that
with the same team. So
yes, sir.
Now they're struggling this year, but they broke 500. So they're 12 and 11 right now. But I think they own the up.
Good.
That's good to hear.
The Asia did well. Asia one had 24 points, 14 rebounds, some blocks.
Outstanding.
Hey, good. Oh wow, Roscoe, we'll get to her in a minute, but I want to keep on the subject of you because we have not been with you I haven't seen you, I said 6 years ago, but before that, prior to that, it was a long time because we moved and we went to different colleges and then I went to work for a company in Delaware, DuPont. And so I've missed a lot of your high school. You went to high school somewhere, you went to college somewhere. Tell us about that. I want to bring it back to you for right now. Then we're going to move on. But I want to hear that story because I've missed a lot of your life.
Well, I went to from if you remember, I don't know if you remember where we lived on Farrell Road. There was an elementary school called Farrell Road Elementary School. I went there because I could walk to school from there. Okay. And from there, I went to W.A. Perry. Which is over on Barberville Road. Couldn't walk, but it's right in the area. We say across the tracks from where we live.
Okay.
And it's not far from the church. Not far from the church at all. And from W.A. Perry, that was 1966. When I left Perry, which was the time of desegregation.
Okay.
I would have been zoned to go to C.A. Johnson.
Yeah, okay.
Oh wow, I know that. Yeah.
Yeah, two prominent black high schools here in Columbia, which was Booker T. Washington, and C.A. Johnson, and but Eau Claire High School was all white high school, was desegregated, was closer to me than any other schools.
What?
So I went to Eau Claire.
Oh, okay.
I was one of the first African Americans to attend that school. One of the first African Americans to play basketball at that school during that time, which was very, very, very interesting. I learned a lot from that. You had your first contact that time.
That's right.
With white people, and where you can sort of feel some acceptance, and you can also feel some hatred.
Yeah.
Racism. So it was a mix.
That's right.
So I think it helped me, to decipher some of the codes and some of the things that were not for me, and then can decipher some of the things that were for me. So it sort of helped me see things, see behind the curtain on the way we live as people, and how because that was my first interaction. Because my preschool, elementary, junior high, and college were all black, all black, but high school from 10th grade to 12th grade, it was probably was 800 students at the school, and probably 100 black kids. And,
wow,
that's right. That's the ratio.
We would go when I was playing, and I didn't really feel the two of the worst times I've had there was when Martin Luther King was assassinated. And, because there was a lot of tension then, because you had some people that were glad about it, you had people that just didn't like it.
Oh, wow.
And then you had other people that sympathized with it. So, like I said, again, here you walk in this path, trying to figure out who's with you, who's not with you, who's against you. And sometimes you didn't know because they wouldn't let on in front of you that they were for you or against you at all. You just had to kind of decipher that.
Mhm.
The other time was when I played basketball. We played a team called Dentsville High School. It's now it's a middle school now. It's called Dent, but it's right in the area called Dentsville. Carolyn, do you remember when did you leave Columbia?
Well, I left Columbia in '77 because I was recruited after finish. I went to South Carolina State University. And
Right.
so but we did the integration thing too, because Daddy was at Eau Claire. I think Daddy was one of the teachers that they put over Eau Claire. And then
Oh yeah, that's right.
that's right. So you had Daddy from Perry. You remember Perry? Daddy was at Perry. And then when they had the forced integration,
right.
Daddy went over to Eau Claire. And so you saw Daddy there. And then I went to Columbia High School downtown, the downtown.
Oh,
Yeah,
it was upstairs. Remember we used to play. You had to go up the stairs to go play them. Now I remember that.
Yes, exactly. So with that, so you were asking the question. So what happens is I went to Columbia High, and see that's how we separated, because when it was downtown, exactly. And then mother was one of the teachers to teach French at Columbia High for the first time. And so we all had that experience of integration, which was a good thing, forced integration. At first, we didn't like it because we were so used to having our wonderful times together in the Black community. But when we went to, one thing what made me feel happy about it, you got a chance to know other people from different walks of life. And then they found out how smart we were and how our parents had done by us. So their perception of us became better. And then our perception of them was, okay, well, we see, so we'll do, and we have a good time. All right. So that's how we did. So that's how that went.
It was interesting because the school, Dentsville High School, was right there in that area off of Two Nice Road. It's called Decker Boulevard. It was in the area. It's called Dentsville.
Yeah.
We went to play a game there. And it was me. It was 3 Black players. It was myself, a young man named Mike K. Roof, and then Joe Roach. Joe Roach was my neighbor. He lived down the street. We went to play Dentsville, and the other team had 2 Black players, twins to be exact. They were twins. And the Dentsville side of the gym was all Confederate flags. They were just waving Confederate.
Oh wow!
Oh wow!
This is crazy, and this is just that's the first time I've been that close to it. To see, not to jump around. When I was 8 years old, I don't know if you remember, Carolyn. My daddy used to teach Bible on the road. He for Benedict, but he would go to Newberry, Bamberg, Barnwell, and would teach Black ministers the Bible. They wanted to be ministers, but they had to learn they had to learn grammar, reading concordance, those kind of things. So he would teach that.
I didn't know that.
The Black ministers, and he would do it in the evenings because they had to work their regular jobs in the day. So we would drive down to these places. We'd be 80 miles away, And sometimes when we would stop in these towns to buy peanuts and that kind of thing, keep it moving. But on one particular night, we got stopped. It was this young kid, white kid. He had a gun, and he was stopped because the Ku Klux Klan was having a meeting. So I don't know if it was Barnwell or I don't know what town it was. And he told us that we could not go down this road. And I could see the lights from the fires and the kind of in the field. And he said, well, y'all can't go this way. And one thing I hate, I was terrified to a certain degree, but I was more shocked.
Yes.
My daddy had to say yes, sir, to a 16 or 17-year-old boy.
Wow.
And that really, really hit me. But he knew, he just kept his hand on me. He just kept his hand on me. Because I wanted to say something, because I didn't know what was going on. Who is that? Is this,
That's dangerous down there.
It's dangerous, but you want to speak up.
Yeah, he just kept his hand on me. Why are you talking to my dad this way? We were always taught respect.
That's correct.
But he just kept his hand on me and was telling me, okay, chill. It's gonna be all right. And I saw that flag. From that point, my whole perception of what the flag was all about, which I knew was not anything, and it wasn't for us. It really brought brought to fruition what the mentality of that is and how anyone that carries that flag or believes in that flag doesn't have my best interest at heart.
That's
Absolutely.
correct.
Roscoe, can I ask you one question real quick?
Mm-hmm.
Was that cop trying to keep you guys from the danger, or was it like?
No, this wasn't a cop. This was probably one of the workers for the Ku Klux Klan. It wasn't a cop. It was just he just was blocking the road because he didn't want anybody going down in there
Okay.
that weren't a part of them.
Oh, I didn't realize that part. I thought it was an officer just like, hey, it's
No.
best not to go.
This was a young kid, that was assigned to stop people from going down that road. And I was like, whoa, okay. So, so from that point, I just never, when I see the Confederate flag, that's all I thought about. I thought about
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I respect that.
My daddy got to say yes, sir, to somebody that we were always taught, you say yes, sir, and yes, ma'am to your elders.
Mhm.
I don't care who it is. So, but those are the kind of things that sort of help me, what's the word? Help me develop my course of life of how I'm going to see things.
View things.
From high
Yes, sir.
Yes.
I can view it and handle it.
all that kind of thing. And everybody's not the same, but everybody's not bad either.
Absolutely.
correct.
It just depends on what situation they're in, what peer group they're interacting in.
That's correct.
They could be real good in one place, and because you know how we are, sometimes people you speak to people, but you see them in other venues, you see them in other circumstances, they don't say anything to you. But that's black. That's black too, man. That's not just white.
Yes, sir.
But you learn how to deal with it, and just you write it off to. I just learned something and keep it moving. So
Yes, sir.
Yes, okay.
that's the whole the from Eau Claire with the Eau Claire, and like I said, the whole Martin Luther King thing was just real tough, tough. There was a I wanted to play basketball. Was this April 4th, I think it is. I think he got shot. He got assassinated April 4th, 1968. And I wanted to play basketball, and so when I got to school, I knew it was gonna be some mess. When I saw it on TV, I said, it's gonna be a mess here at school, just sort of prepare myself. So as soon as I got there, this football player comes in and said, Roscoe, man, this guy has been going around school bragging about the fact that he's glad that Martin Luther King was shot, and maybe these N-words will settle down, And I'm like, what? So well, we must have a discussion with him. So we must have an academic discussion to exchange our views with him. So
yeah, absolutely.
We went looking for him, and so we found him, but he was in the dining hall, in the cafeteria for lunch. That's about the time we found him. He was in the cafeteria. And so we told him, listen, when you come out here, we're gonna have to talk. It's gonna be some issues here. We got to talk.
Sir.
And I said, so we waited. The crowd starting to kind of come up, and just getting a little tense. And the coach for the basketball coach, his name was Dick Sheridan. I loved him. He was a white guy, but very nice, very focused young man. And so I'm out there, raising sand and telling people, this is not right. You can't do this, we're going to get you. And so the coach walks over to me very calm. He looked at me and said, Roscoe, he said, what are you doing? I said, this guy has said some very bad things about Martin Luther King. He was glad he was dead and all that stuff. And we're going to teach him a lesson. Mm-hmm. He said, Roscoe, there's a lot of other ways to teach people a lesson, A lot of other ways to teach people. And I didn't get it. I didn't get it. He was, he was trying to de-escalate the situation best way he could. I'm trying to escalate it the best way I could. So it's these two things going on. So he looks at me and he said, Roscoe, do you want to play basketball? I said, yes, sir, I certainly do. He said, well, go to class. That's what I was later. He just go to class. And it just, right there, it just settled me down. Once he said basketball, I stopped. But then I told him, I said, we got to do something. So he told me to go talk to the principal. I told the principal what was going on, what was happening. They didn't suspend me or anything. We didn't, I didn't. That's the last thing I need to do because then I got to face my dad and mama.
Yeah.
It's worse than the school.
But so I went to and I told the principal what our concern was. I really did, and he allowed us to form what was called then the biracial committee.
Okay.
It was a committee of Black and white kids just to sit and talk about differences and what we're doing and why you feel this way. And at first we were young, we were just complaining, why it's like this and why we can't do this and why we can't. And they say the same thing, why. So it started the biracial committee, and then that biracial committee went on until I left school. And so,
good.
But think about it now. What do you think would have happened to me if I went in there and I beat that guy up?
Would have went to jail probably.
Yeah.
Would have got
I'd
suspended.
probably been in jail now.
Oh yeah, true.
That is
Oh, yeah.
exactly right.
Started the whole entire race thing.
In essence, he saved my athletic and my regular life. I could have been arrested, had a record, and I told him about that. He remembered it, but he passed away. But I told him about it. We went and sat with it because I was crazy about him because he always talked about being a good person. Which my daddy always talked about being a good person. He always talked about being dedicated and committed to what you want to do. He said, but basketball was a part of. He was a coach. He was a coach, but he used the aspect or the perspective of being a person. Your basketball is not everything. Basketball is just a part of what you do. The other part of what you do is being responsible to your parents. Make up your bed. Respecting other people. So he brought all that into the equation. So he was smart. He knew that what he had to deal with because he had 3 Black players on the team and 9 other white players. And we had to live together. And he knew when we went into certain venues, helping our team deal with the fact that you got a Black player playing on the team. And most teams had at least 1 or 2 Black players. You didn't have any. But some of the venues we went in around South Carolina, we're not very friendly. We're not very friendly at all. He helped us through that. He did. He helped us through that because I knew he had our back. So that shaped me to this day. I never forget those times. And we went all the way to the state championship. And we lost it.
What position did you play on the team? Stop. It's frozen.
Oh yeah.
I played forward.
You play forward, Mr. Wilson? Sorry, he froze a little bit. It'll come back.
It'll come back in a second, Roscoe.
Sometimes it freezes, so the connection lost a little bit, but it should pop back in here in about a few seconds or two.
I see you on the back.
Yeah.
Frozen a little bit.
Yes, sir. Mom asked what position you played.
What position did you play on the basketball team?
I played forward.
Okay.
I was a forward. I was a small forward, and my teammate was a power forward, and the other teammate, big guy, he's like 6'7". He was a center.
How tall are you, Roscoe?
So I'm 6'8".
Wait, what? I'm sorry.
What?
You're 6'8"?
Roscoe, I never realized how tall you.
Holy, and you play small forward?
Well, then, see, the thing about it is when I left high school, I was 6'4". When I graduated high school, in my first year in college, in the summer before I went to college, my freshman year, I grew 2 inches. I just sprouted up. And in the second year, going into my sophomore year, I grew another time. We were 6'8" in 2 years. So the coach was he was happy, but he was shocked. He was like, man, you got taller for the time, because I went to Benedict. But yeah, listen. I know we go all over the place. Listen, I'm 6'8". AJ's 6'5".
Yeah, yes, sir.
AJ's 6'5".
Okay, she's tall too.
Yeah. So when I played overseas, I had teammates with 7'1", 7'2". Look, I look up to, like I tell people, it's all relative. Like you look up at me, like Carolyn, if you look up at me, understand I look up to I had teammates that I look up to like you looked up at me. So they would call me Pee Wee and that kind of thing. So I was 6'8", 230, 240 pounds. I was little, That's a small forward right now. That's a small forward right
Yeah,
now.
you're right.
It's
That's a
6'8".
small forward right now.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, because Magic was 6'10", and he's tall as tall can be. I met him one time.
So you played 4 years. You played at Benedict 4 years, then you were recruited from Benedict. You played. How did Benedict do at that time as far as winning?
We did pretty good. We like it was like just a little over 500. You know, we during my years at Benedict was the late 60s, early 70s. The going trend and understanding was that the better player came from the New York area, Philadelphia area, New Jersey area, Boston area, you know, Philly. Those were the best players, and that's just the way, Frank, our coach at USC, loved New York ball players. He just loved because they're flashy, smart, and then basically New York was the mecca of basketball in the 60s.
Okay.
In Boston, that was the whole rivalry between New York Knicks and the Knickerbockers and the Boston Celtics. That was the mecca of basketball. So then they figured that anyone coming from those areas was very good. But they differ. I think you had some very good players in the South, but that was prevailing sentiment that's what it was. So I had to prove myself that I would be worth, because I had all these players from New York on the team throwing the ball all kind of ways, just and playing a whole nother style. And my mother helped me with that. My mother told me, she said, "Roscoe, how you doing with basketball?" Because she played a little basketball too in high school. I said, "Well, Mom, I've been struggling because I can't pick up their rhythm. I don't know where the ball's coming from sometimes because they're throwing it and they don't look at me and throw it. So that's the whole thing. You sort of telegraph the pass back in those days, but they would like look at you and throw the ball that way. Throw the ball, look at you, throw the ball. No, what they call no-look passes.
Yes, sir.
I'm getting bust side the head, and boom, boom. So she said, you know what she should do? She said, every time they miss, you get the rebound. Whether it's defense or offense. She said, every time they miss, if your teammate shoots and he misses, you get the rebound.
Kind of like Dennis Rodman.
Yeah. Yeah. She said that they're not going to shoot 100% from the floor. So you just make sure that percentage of times that they don't make the shot, you get the rebound. And I did that. Ended up being the 8th leading rebounder in the country.
Holy smokes. All because of your mom giving you that advice.
Mom told me it was a simple thing. It's a simple thing to do. When they miss, get the ball. That's all. Get the ball and put it back in, or get the ball and give it back to them, so they have a chance. And that just was that was my staple, was rebounding. So I would just rebound anytime I get a chance. I rebound, and it worked out for me. It worked out for me. It took me to some camps, some professional camps here in the States, and it took me to Europe for 10 years.
Oh, so you're.
If you wouldn't mind, Mr. Wilson, will you tell that whole entire process of you going from either the camps to overseas? Because I'd love to hear about that as well.
Well, what happened is that, like I told you before, that the prevailing sentiment was that New York
and Boston,
New Jersey, Baltimore, those northeastern venue states or cities, that's where your better ball players came from, because they could handle the ball. They were like, they were, modeling after Earl and Pearl or Clyde Fulfield, all these players, Bob Cousy. So that's the sentiment that came down to South. It came down South. So it migrated down South. Playing in college and sort of breaking through there, when they saw that they needed me, then it helped me be a better player. So I don't know if you all heard of the Rucker tournament, Oakham Rucker tournament. It's in New York City. It's a what they call professional and amateur combinations called Pro-Am. So you have players from the NBA playing with players just in the community, amateur players. But it was one of the top. I mean, he only really had 2 two big tournaments in on the East Coast. That was the Rucker tournament. Then you had the Baker League in Philadelphia.
Okay.
So you didn't sign up for those tournaments. You had to be invited to play.
Yes, sir.
So one of my mother's students, his name was Bob McCullough. He was one of the originators of the Rucker tournament with Holcomb. So he kept saying, Roscoe, I want you to come up here and play in the Rucker.
Oh wow.
I didn't feel confident. I said, man, he said, Roscoe, you need to come up here and play in the Rucker. And it took me about a year of convincing, because I didn't think I was good enough, you know. So finally I went, and they took care of me because my mother taught many of them that were working with her, taught them. So they felt not a debt, but hold on, my son, I don't even know how to take this off.
It's all good. You're still on here.
We still see everything. Yeah, we can see you.
Okay, let me,
and then Roscoe, I wanted to say one thing too, because you touched on something that's so important there, because this actually impacts everybody that listens. Going through that invisible wall of fear, because you said to yourself, I'm not good enough, I shouldn't be there. What got you to change your mind? Did you work on your game nonstop? What was it to change that mentality? Because that's the most important thing for everybody.
It's very interesting. You're good. I see why you got 11 million views.
Thank you, Sarah.
Well, what happened was, when I left college, I had a couple of invites to camps and things, to professional camps, and I took some of those. But basically, I was sort of left with getting a job, and working 8 to 5. And I got this job working for Department of Juvenile Justice, and I didn't like it at all. I didn't like it. I said, I don't want to do this. So there was a motivation there for me to do something else. I wanted to do something else, didn't know what it was. I kept playing. I played basketball. I kept playing basketball with the hope that something would break. So then, like I said, he was calling me and said, Roscoe, you need to come up here and play in the Rucker.
Absolutely.
So I finally got up enough nerve to say, okay, I'm going.
Good.
So I saved some money, packed my bags, flew to New York. I was staying on Long Island with one of my mother's adopted children from Africa. This story goes all kind of ways, but my mother adopted like 8 children from Africa. All went to college. They all lived with us. And one of them, her name was Cora. And Cora was a nurse, and so I was living in New York with them, and I would go into New York and play, and I would come back out to Long Island, which is, if you know it,
I do. I lived in Queens twice, and I worked in New York the last 5 years.
That F train, man, that F train, and things.
Yeah. That's a long ride.
New York boy. Yeah.
Right, you couldn't hang out in New York too long.
Yes, sir.
Because the F train stopped running at 12. Out all the way out in the Rock. So I would sometimes I'd be hanging. I said, forget it. I'd have to walk like a mile or two to get to the house. And I said, man, I can't do this no more. But I played in New York, and so the program was called Each One Teach One.
Okay.
And they would take a professional athlete and partner you with a kid like me. So they would teach me certain things. We'd play, and then we'd play in these tournaments. So I just got to playing, and I'm playing against some people who were my idols, Dr. J.
Oh, wow.
All those, you had a number of players back in those days, and a lot of times, a lot of folks wouldn't know. But we would play. So I played in the Rucker tournament, played every weekend. And we would play. And see, before the Rucker was outside, it was like one of the world famous Rucker tournaments. It was outside in the Polo Grounds in New York, 153rd Street, 152nd Street, something like that. Polo Grounds, play outside. But because of the concrete, because of the asphalt, was really damaging knees, and they went inside at the City College in New York. So we played City College. So I played, and people just, my mother would come see me play. And I played for that year, and the European teams were recruiting. You're allowed to have 2 foreign players, and most of those players were usually American. So European teams would be there, or an NBA team would be there and see you. They pull you out and say, okay, we want you to. I tried out for some NBA teams, but I remember distinctly the last day of the tournament. No one had said anything to me at all. I didn't want to say anything to me at all. I mean, God, I said, so I'm feeling like a failure now, you know. So I hadn't, you know. So finally, I'm sitting there, and this guy just walks up and he says, "Mr. Wilson, how you doing?" I said, "I'm fine." He said, "Well, listen, would you be interested in playing basketball overseas?" And I said, "Well, yes." I'd have played in Afghanistan if it asked me.
Yes, sir.
So he said, "Yeah, we have a team was very interested in you to play in Sweden."
Okay.
I said, "Okay." I said, "Okay." And from there, I said yes. And from that point on, my life changed because that was my first time going overseas, out of the country. You know.
Yes, sir.
Talked to my mother about it, and she said, "Yeah, listen, if that's what you want to do, you do it." And so I just remember they got all my stuff together. They paid all my bills, and they
Oh, wow.
You had housing, you had apartment and all.
Yeah, they had all that. I mean, when I left, I had some bills. You know, it wasn't anything insurmountable, but I had bills. They took care of my bills, gave me a contract, and I remember sitting on the plane. This was before 9/11.
Yes, sir.
I'm sitting on the plane, and the stewardess comes to me and says, "Somebody wants to see you." My daddy had flown to New York and caught me just in time before I left.
Oh, wow.
So here I look. So I go to the door of the plane. I walk back out the plane, gave him a hug. He said, "Good luck. I'm gonna be praying for you." And I'm just like, I'm like, this is amazing, because you didn't think anything about it. Now you couldn't do that at all. You can't walk on the plane.
That's
right.
Yeah, we could walk
on
on
the plane, and he said, I remember when I walked away from him, I looked back at him. He went like this. He said, "Don't forget, you got to pray."
Hey,
He pointed up.
Yes.
And I flew from New York to Toronto.
Okay.
And then that was my first time out of the country. Obviously.
Yes, sir.
I'm in an airport, but I'm still out of the country.
Yeah.
flew to Toronto, and then from Toronto, flew 8 hours to Stockholm, Sweden. And just my life changed totally at that time. I mean, totally changed.
Roscoe, Mr. Wilson, can I ask you actually a question about that too? You were I don't know, because I know how it is now. Sweden people really like black people now. But at that time, you were probably pretty. You probably were. I don't know, but I just know Europeans. All I've heard is like how my friends tell me they go overseas, how much they love.
They do. They are enamored with. But see what happens in Europe. And I was married. I was married.
Yes, sir. And I understand.
But they are enamored with the hair. Then your hair, and then a lot of times when you're in Europe, I know in Sweden they have a lot of documentaries on Africa.
Really?
And they related Africa to anything black. There was Africa. So. I said, "Listen, you all know more about Africa than probably I do." I couldn't tell you anything about Africa.
Yes, sir.
They were, particularly then, back those days, United States passport was valuable. I mean, because we were we were the world leaders. We were the best people in the world. We helped everybody.
Yes, sir.
So you were very well received. And then on top of that, if you're a good player, you also very well received.
Yes, sir.
And so I went over and I just had a blast. I mean, we were playing games and people loved you. And, I enjoyed you signing autographs. I'm signing autographs. I mean, y'all don't know me from Alan.
But you're like a hero to them. Like you're the star of the country.
And we would play. And what was funny was that when I would play, I would generally see another player on the other team who I knew from New York.
Oh, okay.
Because that's where they got all us out of New York. So I said, "Oh," and I said, "Oh man, how you doing?" We stopped, and they weren't used to that because when you're opponents, you're supposed to be opponents all the time. So you don't do
you're not buddy.
Right. It's like you're enemies, but we weren't like that. We were shaking hands, hugging. how you doing, man? Then we play against each other. That mentality, that mentality didn't click. You know, so how you can play, be friends, and then you play against each other, and you try to kill each other. Well,
yes, sir.
That's sport. That's a sport. But Sweden was very interesting because that's where a lot of the draft dodgers went. A lot of people.
Oh, really?
Fight in the Vietnam War. Yeah, Sweden was a neutral country. They're neutral, so they stayed out of that whole détente thing of, you know, we're for the United States, we're for this group, we're for this group. No, they stayed. And see, Sweden had a history of being neutral, even during when Hitler was moving through Europe. Sweden didn't fight Hitler.
Oh, really?
No, he didn't. No, they used its women to interact with Hitler's men, partying, singing. You know, you've seen when they're drinking the beer, the ladies.
Yes, sir.
That's how Sweden sort of dealt with Hitler. But so they I don't know where it is right now, but then they weren't looked upon as very. They didn't like them because the Danes fought them, Denmark fought them, Finland fought them. I don't know if Norway fought Hitler or not, but Sweden allowed Hitler to move a little further through Europe because of the fact that they didn't want to fight him.
Yes, sir.
You know, they just sort of used they socialized with them and said, okay, we won't do anything here. You have beautiful women, we're partying, we're having a good time. So they left Sweden alone. Now, where that stands in history, I can't, you know, I don't know where.
Yes, sir.
But it's just then that's where it was. So you have a lot of draft dodgers who didn't want to go, who, you know, conscious and objective, whatever it would be, they would migrate in Sweden.
Okay.
I met a lot of these young brothers, and they were like there, and they were like, they had interacted. They got kids. They got, you know, Swedish African American kids, and they really wanted their parents to see their children. They couldn't because the president
couldn't go back. Yeah.
Because all that was just amazing. But they had beautiful kids. They formed their own lives, and I didn't. You know, I'm just there trying to play basketball and have a good time.
Yeah.
I couldn't get into I didn't get into
politics.
The whole the politics of how that worked. But they were just good people to know.
Yes, sir.
They were always hospitable, and, you know, you spend time with them. You break bread. They come to your games, and so finally, I can't remember the president. I don't know. I don't remember the president, but I know the president. It was newly elected. He allowed the draft dodgers to come back to the States because they weren't allowed to come back to the United States.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so this guy was telling us how happy they were that they were allowed to come back. They weren't gonna stay. They were just gonna come back and let their parents see their grandchildren, you know, and then go back. So they were pretty happy about that. So I stayed in Europe that year. It's a town called Södertälje. It was about an hour outside of Stockholm.
Okay.
Played there a year. I left, came back, went back to the Rucker. Didn't get picked up for about a year, and then they called me again and said, come back. So I brought me back to a team in the south of Sweden called Helsingborg, about an hour away from Copenhagen. Okay. And I stayed there. 2 years. Left again, didn't go back, and that team called me back.
Okay.
So I played one team for 4 years.
Oh, wow.
But understand, in between, those seasons were the same as the NBA.
Okay.
Ran from like October to April.
Yes, sir.
You know, to the playoffs. So that's where their league went. They parallel the state league and state. So that means between April and September, that was your summer.
Yes, sir.
So what I would do is I had a buddy. He called me. He said, "Come to play in Venezuela." So he said, "Roscoe, you want to play in Venezuela?" I said, "Yeah." So I flew from Helsingborg to Caracas, Venezuela, and played in the summers there. So I had 35 degrees below zero in Europe, and I would fly from from there and fly to Venezuela where it's 85 degrees every day, sunshine, beach and everything. Oh shit. I was living the life.
Yes, sir. It sounds like it.
Oh man, it was great. It was great. But see, the thing was, it was a respite for me because the cold weather, the competition. But then the competition was great there. I loved it, but it was just different. It was just different. You just put your shorts on. I think one time over there, I don't think I combed my hair for 2 years. My head was. I had twists before they even know they were twists.
Oh yeah.
It was that. It was really. So I remember I was surprised at my daddy. Coming back from Europe for his birthday. Oh, either for birthday or his church anniversary, his past anniversary. So when I got back, I was in Colombia for 2 or 3 days. He didn't know it. I was just in Colombia staying. You know the Casey, Bubba Casey. Carol, you remember James Casey, Mr. Casey?
Oh yeah, James Casey. Yes, I remember them.
He lived right across the street from the church. I stayed with him there, and he kept saying, Roscoe, man, your daddy gonna kill you once he sees your head. Once you see your head. I had this mini afro. It was mini, but all I could do was, twist my hair. I couldn't. You didn't have black barbers in Europe. You really didn't either. It was a zip cut. You just zip it off.
Yes, sir.
Man, I agonized over that, and I said, if I can't walk in with my hair like this, it just, because I respected my dad.
Absolutely.
I would not do anything to shame my daddy. So I went to the barber shop and I cut it off, and I was like, God damn, I cut it off. But it worked out. He, you didn't know it worked out. It grew back when I went back to Europe.
Okay. Yes, sir.
But I just remember those times, man. It was just, traveling between. You have to understand. Started out in Sweden, from Sweden to Venezuela, from Venezuela to Argentina, Uruguay, Ecuador, oh my gosh, France, Italy, Spain.
You've seen the world.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We had a beautiful experience.
Yeah. We traveled all because of basketball. All because of basketball. Because when you're playing, you play for somebody, you're on their dime.
Yes, sir.
So when I came to the States, I'm on my dime. So I like to be on somebody else's dime more than on my own dime.
Absolutely.
But it allowed me to travel everywhere. And then to come to this point now, and I know I want to be moving too fast. Slow me up if I am.
Oh yeah, actually, Virgil, I'm sorry, not Virgil. Sorry, I didn't even say Virgil. I talked to Virgil the other day.
Right.
Mr. Wilson, my question is this: how did your outlook on life kind of change? Because now you're, for instance, I no longer live in Virginia or South Carolina, even though I'm here right now. I have lived in New York. I've lived in Los Angeles. I've worked all over the United States and Mexico. With you being from South Carolina originally, and then only probably going to Texas and New York, you've now seen the world at this point. How did your view? You have a different outlook, I feel like, at that point. You've seen so many things that your peers around you haven't seen back home. How did that change your outlook? Or you as a human?
Well, yeah, because it changed dramatically. I shouldn't say dramatically. It changed to a surreal perspective because a lot of the places I went visited were places I would see in a book. So your encyclopedia. I'd always look at these places. My mother would understand bringing this full circle. Remember, my mother was a historian.
Yes, sir.
So my mother traveled the worol.
She
would come back with all these items and artifacts, and she would come back and bring pictures of the Eiffel Tower, bring pictures of the Arc de Triomphe, pictures of the what's the place in India? Oh my gosh, Taj Mahal.
In India? Oh, Taj Mahal?
Taj Mahal, yeah.
Taj Mahal.
Yes,
so
sir.
She visited all these places. She visited China. She was, the Wall of China, the Great Wall of China. So I was seeing these places, then be able to go visit and see these places myself. It just brings it full circle. Like, oh, okay, this was it's all about. So it's an education. So, everybody wants you to get a master's, but I'm gonna tell you right now, I would take traveling and visiting and learning and traveling and visiting and learning about cultures in Africa before a master's degree. Because it teaches so much about people. And probably the reason why I am what I am today is because I haven't been hardened by certain aspects of what's happened to me as a Black man.
Absolutely.
Because I'm saying it's a microcosm of what's going on around the world. Now it's a little bit different now.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's a little bit different. This is a tiny little bit different right now.
Yes, sir.
But to be able to see all that and say that, listen, that's what you ever notice that people who have traveled or people who've been places that weren't before, they are different people. They see things totally different because of the fact that you experience something in a vacuum. You experience racism, you experience all this stuff, and it's in a small space, not a real big space.
Yes, sir.
Like I said, it's a little different now.
Yes, sir.
But then, like I said, I had my Eau Claire High School experience. I had my Densville experience, and that's a small space. But then to be able to go and see places that people look at you as just being you, and not necessarily that you. If you are Black, they're more fascinated by it than intimidated by it.
Yes, sir.
It's not all about what somebody hates you. It's about people just don't know.
Yes, sir.
You don't. It's not the fact. Fear is a result of not having any knowledge, not having any kind of understanding of somebody. So you're gonna fear them.
Absolutely.
Walk with blinders on.
Yeah. So
blinders on. You looking at one. People have blinders, so they just see in one direction. But what happens? What life gives you and what your exposure gives you, it's a chance to see and be open about different cultures, to love people for who they are and not how they treat you so much, because you can see that they have not had the experience to understand that the world is huge and people love people outside of this little box that you might be in. One might be in.
It's just like you in the world, and you're standing in a forest, like that whole forest tree. You stand in the forest, and you're just looking at trees instead of understanding that you're in a forest. You're in a vast forest. So there's a lot more past these trees than there are other trees, there are other type trees. So I always use that adage because people say you can't see the forest for the tree, which is true. Because you're right in these trees, you're in this group of trees here, and you don't know. So you go further into the forest, you can see more. You got animals, you got everything. The perspective. I mean, some places warm, some places cold. So it's really helped me. It's really helped me. My travels have helped me be who I am because of the fact that I've had to carve my own path. Because my daddy was not. He wanted good for me. He wanted me to get a good job, with good benefits, get married, have children, and just go on. That wasn't exactly my plan.
Yeah.
Your plan was to. That's right. Yeah.
No, but he understood it. He knew what I wanted to do, but he didn't stop me. He just made sure understand what he wanted for me.
Yes, sir.
I remember he told me that he had to work with his father-in-law. Now, his father-in-law was a carpenter too.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
My mother's dad was a carpenter, and he remembered. He said he was standing on this rickety roof back. It was in the 30s. I mean, it was probably in the 40s, late 40s. And he's on this rickety roof working. And the roof is on the top of his house. He's like on his house, and he's trying to hammer. He's not doing a very good job of working on it. And he says, "Roscoe, you'll never be a good carpenter." And my daddy said to myself, "You're right, sir. I'm never going to be a good carpenter. This is not what I want to do right here." And so I think he understood the same thing for me, that they wanted me to be certain things, but I had other aspirations. My mother motivated me to see outside of what we were living in, and that's what. But my mother was she had a vast view of things. To talk to her, my mother started the first voter registration for women in the state of South Carolina.
Really? That's amazing. And a part of history.
Yeah. She's formed for all women in South Carolina. Oh yeah. I used to read back. It's an historian here. I go and he shows me stuff and shows me pictures and things from back in the day when I was a kid, younger. The things that my dad and mother used to do, and so I was real proud to see that, and we taught that to Asia. We made sure Asia and my son understood that you're part of a family of doers, a family of purveyors of some type of truth that is just not going to sit and accept what people say. Okay, you need to do this. I never wanted to do that.
Yeah.
I always wanted to do other things, and people thought I was being flashy or not. I was not being
It's just
flashy.
exposure.
Yeah.
It's exposure is what your people.
My son's like that now. He dresses differently. now I got to remember my son is a DJ. He does a lot of DJs for all types of entertainers, you know. So
Wow.
so he I remember that when Asia was in high school, Asia loved Drake. Oh, she loved Drake. She loved Drake. And
Drake. Oh, okay.
Drake, yeah. And so I bought her tickets to go see Drake. And as fate would have it, her high school championship game fell on that same.
Oh, wow.
She couldn't go to see Drake, and I had to tell her, I said, Asia, you know, I'm gonna have to sell these tickets and get it, sell these tickets because you got a championship game. And she was kind of bummed about it, but she knew what she had to do. She didn't play.
Yeah.
And so did my son. So the night they played the championship game, they won the championship. She was MVP, awesome. The whole thing. So we were right here at this house here. And so it's like 3 o'clock in the morning. So I hear Asia screaming. She's like, screaming at the top of her voice, terrified, sound terrified. So I jump up. What is God? I thought somebody broke in the house. My son DJ Drake's concert, right?
Oh, no way.
Yeah, he did. So he got Drake to send her a personal video.
Oh, wow.
And him to her, and told her what a big fan he was of hers, and she had, she's a good basketball player, to keep doing what she's doing, and hopefully one day we'll get you a chance to get to one of my concerts.
Oh, wow.
Amazing.
Lost her mind. So now, those kind of things motivate you, because what it teaches you is that even though you're giving up something, you somewhere along the line you'll get something. You'll get something back.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it is. And so Asia is grown far beyond her years. She's more profound sometimes than I am on some things. She sees things,
Yeah. One thing about his daughter, I want to tell you how I met her. But one thing I want to tell you, you met Brandon's daddy.
Okay.
In Virginia. David Smith was my husband, David Smith, and you met him because my husband came home and said, I met Roscoe Wilson. He was you met him he was Deputy Secretary of Commerce and Trade for the state of Virginia. I don't know if you met him in that office or when he was a banker.
I know because I had an office in Virginia. I work with at-risk kids.
Okay. Yes.
So we worked out of Norfolk, particularly out of Norfolk and Richmond. And I did meet him. You're right.
Did you know that was Brandon's daddy?
No.
Yeah, that's Brandon's dad. I was married to him for 32 years. And so he came home. He said, Carolyn, I met someone from your hometown, because he grew up in Denmark, South Carolina. And so he said, I met Roscoe. I said, you met Roscoe? He said, yeah. He said, Roscoe came to my office today.
That's
and
right.
So I didn't know if you put it together that's who I
did not put that together at all. And he grew up in Denmark.
Yeah.
Denmark, but he was born in Columbia. He grew up in Denmark, South Carolina. His daddy was the bishop of
Bishop Edward Smith
of Progressive Church. You know that church across the street from C.A. Johnson? Yeah. That's his daddy, the guy my husband met. Yeah, and that's Brandon's granddaddy.
That's amazing. Listen,
I thought you didn't put that together. That's why to make sure you put that together today.
And then, like I say, Denmark, South Carolina, that's a whole other podcast.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it is.
We can make that a
Our parents used to ship us down there for summers.
The summertime, because we lived in Virginia, we would send them down to spend time with the grandparents, and Brandon hated it. He said he would look at his suitcase. He would look at. He wanted to come back.
Going down to Mama Nails.
Yeah, it really was, man.
Yeah. So that's what I wanted to put together too. That you had met, you had met his daddy.
Oh,
and so
God,
with
that's
that, but
amazing.
that's how I met your daughter. So that's what I want to put together when we talk about children.
Oh.
So Brandon, they were born in Virginia. We lived in Virginia for a good while. They were born, and my oldest son born in Virginia.
What part of Virginia?
Richmond.
Richmond, and the West End,
Short Pump area.
Short Pump area. Are you familiar with Virginia?
Right.
Short Pump area out there.
Okay.
And so, so they grew up in Virginia. And then Brandon.
I went to Carolina. I'm a graduate of Carolina.
He's a graduate of University of South Carolina. He was in the journalism department.
When did you graduate?
I graduated December of 2007. And then now I go back and guest speak all the time.
Yeah, he is
Journalism school.
He's an adjunct professor at USC.
Okay.
So he speaks at journalism school.
Yeah, anytime they have me there, I always go there and speak. I love doing it.
Yeah, but he talks about the acting and everything. And so that's what happens there. But I want to talk about how I met Asia. They were having some program at St. John. It might have been something. I don't know what that program was. And you knew that the Hall kids weren't really into sports, all that kind of thing. We didn't follow a lot of it. And I know your daughter was so great in high school. And so I didn't know at the time. So Naomi and I came over to you and you said, hey, Carolyn Nay, you have to meet my daughter. And I said, okay. And she was still in high school. And I said, okay. So I saw this beautiful tall girl walk up to me and everything. And so you said to us, she is very good in basketball. I said, oh, she is. I said, oh, so are you very good in basketball? She said, well, I do. Really humble. I do very well. I said, well, let me shake your hand. Just do it like, let me shake your hand, and maybe one day I'll see you out there playing somewhere. That's all I said. But I remember that because you wanted us to know, because you knew we didn't know anything about Asia. And you said, she's just very good. And you were very, very humble in that. But you knew that we didn't do a lot of sports. So you knew we hadn't seen your daughter or anything. And I don't think at that time we had seen each other for some time. Right. And so it was just so nice before. She was still in high school when I met her, and just so polite. So in high school, right there, St. John, you know how we sit on the back row at St. John. My mother said 6 kids, we go to the back row, because she didn't want us all over the church. So your daughter was so sweet. And I looked at her at that time, and she was such a humble spirit. And in fact, that's what I appreciate. Sometimes I will see her play, and I see how she will not get in fights. She'll go to the side when they're doing all that crazy out there. And that's from what I know. It comes from your parents. I don't know if she was born when your mother was still alive. No, but I want you to know that, the way I can see that. When I saw Asia the first time I thought about her grandmother. Dr. Wilson. And I said, if only Dr. Wilson could see her granddaughter now. And then I think about Reverend Wilson, and I think about the positive seeds your parents, and as I say about my parents too, planting in this earth. And now we see. Now we see, I see Brandon and all the TV shows and stuff, but I see your daughter, and I see the difference she has made, the impact she's making in the world. And I said, those were the seeds that our parents planted. And when the way she carries herself, the way she is, and I thank the Lord for your parents about Asia, because and about you and your wife now with molding her, because those types of things God has planted, and I now see it in your daughter, and what a difference she is really making, Roscoe. But I wanted to put David with Brandon. I want you to know that. But I wanted you to tell a little bit.
I didn't realize that. I remember that was probably 20 plus years ago.
Yes, it was.
I was alive.
And I thought when I saw her again play, and I said at USC, I've never seen her play live. I just looked at her on TV, and I would say to my kids, or I say, that's Roscoe's. I said, I know her daddy. That's all I said. We grew up with her daddy. And I just think that, and we'll do that subject another time, but the making of champions. That's a
Yeah.
subject I'd like for us both to talk about one day, because when I talk about Brandon, I'm always so impressed. When he left USC, he said, Mom, I'm going to Hollywood. He said, I'm going to go and be an actor. That's what he told me.
There you
Well,
go.
Brandon, tell the story about being an actor, because, you know, our parents pushed us, Roscoe.
Right.
You know how my parents pushed us, and yours too.
Yeah, I'll make it kind of simple. A couple things here, but I wanted to also agree with my mom. I love that about Asia, the fact that her talent does all the talking, and she's and the fact that everything she does is perfect. And you guys have done a wonderful job in raising her. She's a shining example of how men and women should be in that spotlight, in that field, and everything. So I wanted to say that.
And we were proud of her too. I tell you, she does so much.
So when I decided to go, I used to go take my parents to dinner every Wednesday. My grandparents to dinner every Wednesday when I was at University of South Carolina. But on one particular Wednesday, I told my grandma, "Hey, I want to be that thing on TV." While my grandfather was still at the church, I said, "I want to be an actor." And she's like, "What do you want to be?" She's like, "I said I want to be an actor."
Not my parents.
On the Smith side, my dad's side, she's like, "You can't be no actor." And I got so upset that I went outside and I called my mom. I said, "Mom, Grandma says that I can't be an actor." And Mom said, "Baby, you can be anything that you want to be in this lifetime." And so I stopped studying for the GMAT to go back and get my business degree, master's anyway, from University of South Carolina, my MBA. And I studied for this acting school, which I ended up getting into. And then my mom and my dad supported me 100% with going out to LA and doing that. And one of the reasons I asked you, Roscoe, earlier was what got you to, when they were asking you to come to New York, what was that final thing to get you to make that leap? The reason I asked you that question is because I know within myself, I know that I have all the God's with me. I rely on faith heavily. But when I went to Los Angeles to establish my career there, I knew God was sending me there. I knew that was my calling. And then when my time came to move to New York, to work in New York and establish my career there, I knew God was sending me. And I was going to show those New York cats what this Virginia boy could do.
Exactly. That's it's just a belief in self.
Yeah.
It's a belief in self. And sometimes it's hard to go against the status quo, as you may call it. Like I said, my daddy was not athletic at all. At all.
Okay.
He God bless him. He it looked as though that it was, to him, it was kind of frivolous to play in Europe, for money and that kind of thing. I didn't question him on that. I just said, listen, I think it's a way to do it, And then what I used to remind him of, when he first got St. John, he said that they gave him $600, which is the budget for the church, and the key to the door. And he got started. And he even had deacons pushing back at him. They didn't like his style. He was young, brash. And he just sort of kind of, he would say things like, this deacon would say, "Oh, I think we need to get somebody else," and he was so check it off. And what he would do, he put the deacon name down and he put the deacon's age by it. The deacon was 85 years old. Okay. We can get out a little time,
Yeah.
But it was the same for him. My daddy had to grow into what I was doing, and accept and grow into what I was doing. And I think one of the things that occurred for me was the fact that for him to see what I was doing, and not just basketball, just in my work in general, when I was doing my lobbying work and my juvenile justice advocacy work. I was a juvenile justice specialist. He came along with me. I took him to New Mexico, and I think it clicked for him what I was doing.
Yes, sir.
It was a discussion. But I want to get back to what you said about doing a podcast about making of a champion. It's amazing this thing is saying that this is not by coincidence. I have been considering writing a book.
Okay. Yes.
And I was going to call it The Making of a Champion, but not necessarily. I'm serious.
Mom's been saying that for days, weeks now.
I said, I want to talk to Roscoe about the making of a champion.
And
I thought we could have a podcast on that, because I said we're not going to be able to tell everything today. But I think about your daughter being a champion, Olympian as well, going to the Olympics and everything. And then I think about Brandon being this actor who has been on all these TV shows. And what is it about what we do what God has put in us to help us make these champions, as He's made us a champion, because we are champions as well. What difference we've made in society, what they have watched us do, and now they feel comfortable to take that to the next level with us. Did your daddy get a chance to see that? See your Asia play?
Well, yeah, he saw Asia play. He saw Asia play in high school.
Great.
He didn't see her play in college. No, my daddy died he saw it through high school.
Okay.
High school. And see, the thing about it is the key word to that is champion. It doesn't have to be an athlete. It can be a lawyer. It can be an actor.
Absolutely.
That's right.
A speaker. It can be a politician.
That's correct.
Right. See, but you use the basis of the backdrop of what you have.
That's right.
You have the acting experience. You have thespian experience.
Yes, sir.
Every time I say thespian because I'm a big fan of Saturday Night Live.
Oh yes, great show.
And I remember they were talking about how they were thespians, and they were just always thespians, But it's those kind of things that people help relate to what you're doing. A champion you can be a champion chess player, you can be a champion cornhole player.
Sure.
But being a champion is a certain state of mind, and
it really is.
I wish I'd have had somebody to help me reach what we help Asia do. Because Asia is her mentality is.
Didn't she write a book? I think she wrote a book. She wrote a book.
It's called,
she has a shoe line. I mean, I've just watched bits and pieces. My cousin Sharon will share things with. In fact, that championship game that they won. I remember I was at my auntie's house, and I was in the room, and Sharon said, "Oh, Asia's coming on camera. They're in the championship." You would have thought I was Asia's aunt, mama, or somebody, because I was screaming. When she would do something, and it was getting close. That was the first time. It was getting close. That was the first championship she won with her team. The first championship. And I'm sitting like this. I'm doing like this at Caroline. And she was, and I'm sitting up here. Roscoe, I was screaming, running back and forth. Sometimes I just get too excited to be watching these games. And when it's close like that, I don't know how you keep your cool, because sometimes they're paying the audience once in a while. If I watch a game, I say, Roscoe, I'm waving at the TV. I said, "There's Roscoe up there."
I'm there too.
But I tell you,
Mr. Wilson, I did want to say this. Sorry, I didn't want to lose this thing. You didn't have that person, but God put that within you to do it for yourself.
That's right.
I didn't. I did that. Well, I shouldn't say I didn't have that person.
But you had it within you, though.
I was in a world of motivators.
Yeah.
But Asia was one of those types that I stayed on her. See, my daddy didn't do that because that was not his background. Being a former athlete, I knew to a large degree what it took to go to your next level. If you want to be better, you got to work harder, you got to do certain things. So what happened was Asia didn't like basketball. She didn't like it. She didn't like the sweat. She didn't like the whole mentality, the whole AAU experience was just not something she liked. And but I told her, I said, Asia, she was getting pretty tall, and you look at this class pictures, and you look at this, you got all these kids certain height, and you got this one kid that's a giant. That's Asia.
Yes, sir.
So Asia, she likes soccer. She likes soccer. She liked track and field. She liked volleyball. She was very good at volleyball. She got the track record at Heathwood, all her school.
Oh, wow.
And I said, let's try out basketball. She did. We put in rec league. She did pretty good, but she did it only because I was, wanting her to do it.
Yes, sir.
And then she started getting better. We started working out. We trained in the yard, trained in the gym. We trained. So she started getting real good about it. And her confidence built up. And she told me, she was 13 years old. She said, Daddy, I want to be the best high school player in the nation. I want to win a high school championship. I want to be the best college recruit in the nation, and I want to win a college championship, and I want to win a gold medal.
Oh wow!
And she got all that. She got It's a mentality.
Yes,
and
sir.
The mentality can't be taught. What happens? The mentality is developed from birth. From the time you come to this world, Your parents are going to pour stuff into you
That's
that
true.
you don't think that you need. You don't think that you think they're just fussing at you. You think you just, you think about the times that your daddy and mama got on you about something. Y'all crazy. Like, out of mind. What do you want me to? You want me to do my homework? So that kind of stuff. You want me to come in at a certain time? What is wrong with y'all? Just say it in my head.
Yes, sir.
But it's a discipline. It's a physical and a mental discipline that is. My wife and I, even not tag team, but we had our lanes because she was not an athlete.
Yes,
but
sir.
her mother, Miss Rakes, we call her Toot.
Okay.
That's another podcast.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
She was very motivating. She didn't talk a lot, but you can tell that when she was wanting to make a point, she'd make a point. Sometimes she wouldn't even open her mouth, And that was Eva's mother, and she was very focused on what she learned. She taught Eva, so Eva largely was in charge of keeping Asia focused on all of the things going on around. My charge was to make sure that whatever thing she loved to do, that she's gonna stick with it and do it. So we sort of worked as a team to make sure she got her lesson, make sure she got her rest, ate properly, just the basic stuff.
Yes, sir.
But also still be a good person, respectful to others, get your homework, study, which is a lot of stuff to do. But if you start it early enough, it becomes, it works for you because there's just second nature now. I'm doing work. See, some people start late and it's hard when you get to a certain age. There's just certain things you just ain't gonna do. It's just not. So Eva was very good on Eva's very calculated. And she studied when schools were recruiting us, she would keep a list of likes and dislikes of the school, likes and dislikes of the coaches, staff. And she would look at it and went, okay, no, we're not going there. We're not going there. We sort of kind of broke things down. We didn't do that. We just did that with us. We didn't do it with Asia.
Yes, sir.
We look at it later on. So, but yeah, I wanted this. We're gonna talk about this.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love for you to. We'd love for you to come back and. I definitely love for you to come back and talk about that. Also, I want to say, I wanted to say this for you to make sure that you got this too. You should be proud of yourself because you're the one that broke that generational thing. You said you didn't have that. You wish you had that person. Well, God put all that within you, and you learned it through your travels. You learned that through the work ethic you developed yourself. You learned that through stepping through that wall of fear and going to New York and doing that, taking that F train up to Long Island, even if you had to walk.
Man, I tell you,
yeah. But you did all those things, and then now you within yourself, because God bless you with that, and your dad shows up. Your dad showed up there to give you that support. And your mom had already gone out in the world, so you had that shining star, the North Star, in both your parents. That you could look at that for that advice, at least for that they can do it, I can do it too.
I like that perspective. That thank you so much. We and then Eva, marrying Eva, and then having Asia. We just started this whole thing of how we're going to develop this child because everybody thinks their child's special. I mean,
that's not always the case.
Yeah, she's all right. She's special, but we really believe Asia was special. My daddy worried about her because she was left-handed and she was long, and she's like, my daddy once said, man, Asia's going to have some struggles, because she's left-handed and she's tall. Nobody can want to marry her. I said, well, yeah, that's very good.
Yeah.
That's the way we planned it.
Daddies love their girls.
Yeah. But what I'm going to tell you, Carol, it's amazing how we keep popping back in each other's lives.
Exactly.
About 6 years ago, there was a development project that Rachel, because they told me, I didn't know it at first. They said, well, we got this developer was doing some work for us. The developer called me. I don't know how he called me. He called me and said, I got this developer in North Carolina that's trying to get North Carolina tax credits to pay for South Carolina development. I'm like, well, I don't know how that's going to work, So I'm saying he was really giving this group a tough time, and they contacted me and the senator. This is a senator now. His name is Darrell Jackson. He's a senator for South Carolina.
Darrell.
It was his project, And he asked me to help him with it because he's got this developer that's really having a rough time, and that he's giving this bank a rough time with stuff. So I come to find out Rachel is part of, what bank was that? Was it Bank of, what was the bank?
Bank of America at the time, or it might have been SunTrust. Might have been Bank of America, maybe.
Yeah, I think it was Bank of America.
Okay.
So he put me, I said, Rachel, is that? He said, yeah. So she and I started working on this project together.
Oh, I didn't know that.
To help mitigate some of the issues they had with this developer that was trying to do stuff that was pretty, wasn't illegal, but it was just on the borderline of shady. You know what I'm saying? This guy, no, she didn't like it. She didn't like him at all. She didn't like it. So we talked about it, and she told me what she wanted me to do, and I told her what I needed from her, and we mitigated the situation. Shoot, man, it worked out. It was a win-win for both of us.
Absolutely.
And then that time when we were in Texas some years ago, and they the church had a guest minister to preach. It was in Houston. And we didn't know who it was. It ended up being Brother Hall. It was brother.
You met him down there in Houston.
In Houston. I'm like, what the heck, man? I said, I can't get away from these halls. They are everywhere.
It's amazing how God wants us, God wants us to stay in touch.
Right.
He just wants that to happen. And because we all grew up, and it's so great to see what God is doing, how he's making that happen for us. Yeah.
It's amazing to look back, because I was just sitting at a basketball game with one of my godsons, and it just happened that Virgil's grandson and my godson were on the same team.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So he told me about this podcast. He sent it to me. He told me, man, he said, you remember Carol? I said, yeah, I remember Carol. He said, her son's doing amazing things, and can't get away from these halls. Every time we look around, it's a hog gonna step in there somewhere.
Yes, sir.
Well, I tell you, Roscoe, I tell you, first of all, I wanted my son to hear your story, and we haven't gotten a chance to tell it all, and to know that you work with youth, and that it's just so great, because South Carolina has some great people that really have impacted the world. And I know that people used to say, this girl from South Carolina, when I used to work in different companies, there's a girl from South Carolina, she's going to change something around here. And I always feel that you've changed the world. Your daughter has changed the world. Your family has changed the world. Your daddy, your mother. And the first time I ever met Africans, your mother, the Africans she brought to church, because she traveled everywhere. And she had them at church, and they became brothers. And look how they impacted your life when you went to New York. You stayed at the home. It's everything that I said, those seeds planted by our parents continue to manifest themselves into such beautiful flowers. And so, Brandon, Brandon, any other questions?
Well, Mr. Wilson, I'd love to have you back. We'll definitely have you back. I don't know how your next couple of weeks are looking, but we'll have you back again.
I'm retired. I do contract work. Work, so I'm retired, but I'm my own. When the alarm went off about 5 minutes before you text me about the podcast, and because I don't have to get up early in the morning.
Oh, yes, sir.
I guess I'm telling 11 million people this, that I don't work.
Oh, yeah. I thought that was the time you needed, so I was like, all right, we would have done later, but that's okay.
I just want the world to know I do work. I'm motivated. I just don't like to do it real early in the morning.
Yes, sir.
But no, I travel, so sometime, maybe the next time a podcast we'll do it from Vegas.
Okay, that'd be awesome.
Because we spend a lot of time, probably half the month we were in Vegas. Here, because we like to spend a lot of time with Asia, and she owns Las Vegas, and that's her place. I want to move out there. She said, nope.
Oh yeah, no, you don't want to live in Vegas. Yeah,
Brandon goes and hangs out there.
I go to Vegas a good amount, but yeah, you definitely don't want to live there. It's too hot.
Now, what y'all got to do? You got to come to a game.
Oh yes, sir. I have to check. Well, I have to definitely coordinate with you to do that.
So are you familiar with Mandalay Bay?
Yes, sir. Very, very, very familiar with it. I've been there a few times, actually.
Understand that Asia's arena, the venue that she plays in,
is Mandalay.
It's
I
in the
didn't know
casino.
that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that at all.
She plays in Mandalay Bay. It's called the Michelob Light Arena.
Okay.
It's right across the street from the Raiders Stadium. So it's right next to each other. They're like
it's right across the highway right there.
That's right. Vegas does it big. Vegas does it big. And every time we go out there, I'm always blown away. I'm like, look at God. Look at God. My wife and I are riding down Las Vegas Boulevard, and it's a 300-foot marquee of Asia. 300-foot marquee of Asia. On the Bellagio, on Aria, it's just amazing.
Sir. All the big hotels.
Oh my gosh! Oh my God! It's great to be able to see that, but I try not to. My wife, she's grounded with it. She likes it. We watch it, and that's the other thing. You were talking about, Carol. Remember you saying that you can't watch these tight games, these real tight, close games.
Yes, sir.
Eva. When we watch the game at home here, and Asia has a free throw that makes the difference, she leaves the room. She says, "Did she make it?" I said, "Yeah, she made it." But we are both like that. I'm very passionate about playing. I'm very passionate about doing what you're supposed to do. And if she doesn't do something that she's supposed to do, I get mad.
Yes, sir.
And so she's that buffer. She makes sure I don't choke Asia for
when you come. Excuse me, not to cut you off. I'm sorry. Did you finish your statement?
No, I was saying we sort of kind of cancel each other out. So I'm the crazy one, but then she's getting crazy too. When Asia's doing well and they're winning, she's jumping on the couch and flipping all in the room and stuff.
Absolutely,
that's when we're not there, but that's cool. That's cool.
Yes, sir.
It's great. It's great.
Well, when we come together again with the podcast, I want to talk about the making of champions and the mindset, and would like to talk, want to really give this a segment for Asia, because I think the world needs to know her. The world already knows her through the Olympics, but to know that the Buckle Up podcast universe wants her seen, wants you, the father, to really for them to put that together, that you are the daddy of her. And so we wanted them to hear you first, your story. We want all stories told, but your story is something, because it's so.
And I enjoyed it today.
I've enjoyed it so much. I enjoyed it so much today.
Y'all look good. Y'all try to. You slick. You slick, man. You slick. But you're good, because you a lot of times everybody asks us to do stuff. Everyone wants to talk to me about this, and we don't always do that, because of the fact that some of it is just. A lot of it's self-promotional.
Yes, sir.
That I can tell when somebody's really into what you're doing, and you all can pull stuff out of you. Like for example, Stephen Colbert.
Yes, sir.
One of the best interviews I've ever seen is with Asia and Stephen Colbert, because Stephen Colbert can ask the hardest questions, and they can seem like make you want to tell it. I don't know how he does it, but you all have a way of talking. And instead of pulling it out of me, I just lay it out.
Yes, sir.
It's a gift. It's a gift. Everybody can't do it. Some people go right to the point. Well, what do you think about this? Why do you think this happened? And no, Stephen Colbert was just talking to Asia, talks to Asia, got her comfortable, and she started just after a minute or so, I'm going to run up there and tell her all my life.
Yes, sir. Well, we're gonna have you. I want to have you back. I do. I sincerely want to have you back, so you can come on, because there's so many different because I want to talk to you about you working with the juveniles as well, like in that juvenile department, and then also I think that you coached at some point too. So I definitely want to hear all that, because I think it's all important.
And in college, but yeah, we got to do that. I'm gonna make sure to tell Asia about this, and because.
But what I want to tell you is I want you to bring pictures of your parents, because I didn't really get a chance to talk about Dr. Wilson, your mother, as much as I want to talk about her. That's a whole segment in itself, because I was introduced to so many things from her, just being a little girl, and she impacted my life, which you just don't even know. I haven't been able to tell that story yet. And so we have so many pieces, and Reverend Wilson and Daddy working with Reverend Wilson to help build St. John's Church and all of that. it's just so many layers of us. In the time that Ben and I almost drowned at the church picnic, and so it's so many things that we can't tell you the truth. So that's why we must have you again. But we're real people, as you're real like that, and we're Southern real people. And I don't know if you knew Stephen Colbert is from South Carolina.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, so these Southern people don't approach you, but I don't know how they are. But anyway, we have a good time.
Yes, sir. We keep it real.
Yeah, I got a picture of real people.
I got a picture of you, Carolyn. Me, you, I own my brother Bubba, standing in the garage of the Drill's house. That's what we used to play in the garage, man.
That's correct. Play in that garage. That's correct.
I gotta find. I'll send that to you. It's a picture.
Okay, send it to. Well, Roscoe, you see how we have to have on this podcast. You have to come. We have so much to talk about.
Yeah, so much
fun, and it's just so much we have to talk about. And so with that, we'll have different pieces of the life of the Buckle Up Podcast Universe, friends and family.
Absolutely. And then
we'll have the thespian here draw up like it's a Netflix movie, and we just do episodes. Season 1.
I have the whole entire plan, Mr. Wilson. I have the whole plan.
I know you do today.
Absolutely. And then I wanted to say, sorry. Go ahead. No, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
I'm good. I
was just going to say, thank you so much for your time today, but you were going to say something. I didn't want to interrupt you from what you were going to say.
I was just saying, I binge on certain Netflix because I have some time, and a lot of time that's my release.
Yes, sir.
But if you ever see this, I guess I hope I get some credit for the promotion. It's on Netflix. It's called Warrior.
Okay.
And it's a series about.
Is it the fighting one?
It's a karate. It's based on.
Oh, I know Warrior. One of my friends the Irish guy in that show.
Yes.
That's my friend Dean Yeager. I'll send you a picture of me and him. We worked in a movie together.
That is a beautiful movie. I mean, it's
serious.
It's written around a time. It depicts the time between at the beginning of Reconstruction, the sort of ending of slavery, when the Chinese came over to fix the railroad.
Yes, sir.
The Americans were working their way in the Reconstruction. The Irish were here. Farmers. They had their own gangs. They had their own mafia. It is an absolute. I binge watched that stuff through.
Show's great.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
It is. I love it.
It's historical. It has a very historical reference of Reconstruction. Because you talk about how Chinese people work on the railroad, help build the railroads. How Black people, everything they did up to Reconstruction.
Yes, sir.
So it has some realistic value to it. And then you talk about the Irish, because the Irish were there were some wild folks. Now they were.
Yes, sir.
They were hard workers, and see the way they depicted the Irish started this whole thing of unions. Started so that's I don't know which actor it is.
He's the main guy. He's the main Irish guy, the main one.
Yes,
of that group.
So you tell him he had to grow on me because I didn't like him at first.
I didn't like him at first.
But to look at him to see, because a lot of it was about racism, how they didn't like, but it wasn't the fact that the Irish didn't like Black people. It's just the fact that Irish like Irish.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's a difference. It's a difference. He liked Irish, and he was making sure that his people got jobs.
Absolutely.
That was a union. He would negotiate with the workers, with the developers. But we'll talk about it. Tell him I really, he's one of my favorite actors. I like that.
I absolutely will. I'll text him. I'll have to have him on the show too. He's a great guy.
One episode, I want you to look at Brandon. His stage name is Brandon Rush. That's why they call me Mama Rush. But I want you to look at that one of Power.
I might not have sent that to you. I was on Power Book 2 Ghost with 50 Cent and Mary J. Blige, their show. I'll send it to you. I'll send you the clip.
I'll send you the clip. I want you to see that clip of Brandon. You will see how Brandon changes when he's on the screen. I mean, it's a totally different person. But with that, we talk about different stories. We have just so much more to talk about, Roscoe. But Roscoe, you have been
wonderful today.
We have had such a time today.
Absolutely.
Well, I enjoyed it. I hope I didn't embarrass the community.
Oh no, you're wonderful. No. You hit so many things that I didn't even think about that were great things that I wanted to go down as well. Even like the integration, traveling to Europe, about your parents, all that was important.
Yeah,
Even you going after your dream, like even going after New York. I thought that was so important too.
When I look back on it now, it was a bit scary. I was terrified.
Yeah.
You know?
But I like it. Yeah, what you're saying, Brandon.
Oh no, go ahead,
Roscoe.
No, but I mean, I just want to. I listen. I appreciate the fact that you even considered me to be even a topic to even discuss.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
I appreciate that. And the next time you'll get a chance to meet Eva, and at some point maybe you get a chance to talk to Asia.
Absolutely.
Well,
we're gonna be in Vegas the 1st of August, so we'll be.
Okay, I don't get back to LA until August 18th. So
yeah,
okay.
Yeah, and then from there.
Her agent lives in LA. I'm gonna particularly cook you up with her too.
All right, that sounds good, sir.
To talk to Jade. So, well, listen, thank y'all so much.
Thank you
Thank you as well.
Where
You always give
We do this at the
What's that, sir?
Where are you now?
I'm in South Carolina. I'm in Columbia, or Lexington.
You're in Lexington now?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he'll be leaving soon. So I said, I want to get all the people that I feel would make a difference or impact on the show. We've only been doing the show since April. And we now have
100 episodes. You're episode 100 today, actually.
You are episode 100 today.
Y'all got quite the following.
Yes, sir.
Well, it's the reason why you all work very well together.
Thank you so much.
It's like I'm talking to a brother and a sister here. And,
that's what we like.
You make me feel so good.
You can speak extemporaneously. Everybody can't speak extemporaneously. You have to be able to relate and to keep people flowing. Make people feel comfortable.
Yes,
and
sir.
That's not something you go to school for. It's something that's in you already that you just know how to crystallize it. So,
well, thank you so much.
Y'all do a very good job. I like that.
Yes, sir. We appreciate it. Well, Mr. Wilson, make sure to send me the photo you want for your cover. I'll have this done in 3 hours.
And he'll have it back to you, the cover, because
Okay.
you're on 20
we're on 20 different podcast stations, so I'll have the picture you want. That'll be like the photo for your episode.
Okay.
And I have it all back to you. But we always give everyone a round of applause.
Okay. It is time for what we do in the end.
Great job.
Very good. Very good.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Mr. Wilson, for your time today.
And listen, thank you all, and y'all have a good day. God bless you.
God bless you,
as well.
Joe. All right.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Be here. It was wonderful.
Oh, it's